Hi, I'll welcome all of you to today's marketing class. And today our topic is addressing competition. Before looking into what competition, let's spend some time on strategy. What the strategy is, which is going to be fundamental and important element of today's lecture. Strategy in normal language, or in common parlance, it can be understood as a long-term plan, or it is something which is understood as a counter planning. Like generally, basically, it's been originated in defense or the military, and later it's been borrowed into marketing. And at this juncture, we can understand like both the defense and military are one and the same. In both the fields, like people will be just concentrating on the moves of the competitors, and making counter moves to competitors' moves is nothing but their subject. So, but whereas coming to marketing, what is strategy? Like how strategy can be understood? Strategy in marketing can be understood as meeting the needs of markets and to fulfill stakeholders' expectations, safeguarding companies' objectives while watching moves of competitors. It's a normal it looks like a normal definition of what marketing is. Just finding out the unfulfilled needs of the customers and logically and reasonably serving them in a way that both the parties are benefited. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind what our competitors are doing in the market. This is called as strategy. Now let's think about competition. Competition, when there are more number of people are making their goods and services and selling this all those things to the same group of customers, is called as competition. Like, who is our competitor? A person who is selling the same product of our product and selling to the same group of customers is a competitor, or a person who is selling different product than our product from our product and selling to the same group of customers is also our competitor, or a person who is selling a substitute good to our product and selling to the same group of customer also is a competitor. And this is this way we have to understand what competition in marketing is. And then what is that in both the terms when combining together? Competitive strategy, it's about being different, either by deliberately choosing to perform activities differently or to perform different activities than rivals to deliver a unique mix of value. Why somebody needs to be different in marketing, or why somebody needs to select different things and perform them differently from the competitors? It's like if your product or you are just one in the mob, one in the group, like nobody will look at you or nobody will look at your product. This is the essence of what marketing competitive strategy is, that unless and until your activities or your marketing strategies or your product is different or unique in the market, no, there will be less chances people choose your product or getting attracted towards the product. Now, how, to what extent or in what manners or in what types you are going to be different from your competitors is the subject matter of competitive strategy. And there are five categories of strategies. There's time related, position based, offensive, and defensive. As we said, like we're going to talk about these four things in the next class. Let's think about a person, marketing expert Porter, and he has given a nice model of competitive strategies, Porter's competitive strategies. And here, before getting into this, anybody's position in the market can be just understood or ascertained by its relative profitability in the industry. When a company is making or when a company's profitability is more than the industry's average, we can say that it is in a good position, and in a long run, it's going to be a competitive advantage for the company. And in attaining the competitive advantage in the long term can lead to two type of things, and which are nothing but being different, making differentiation and cost advantage. That's what Porter pleads. He pleads a firm's strengths ultimately fall into either cost advantage or differentiation. This profitability in long term, that leads the company to have this kind of, to attain these two kind of advantages. One is cost advantage and making differentiation. And these two advantages, like cost advantage and differentiation, mixed with the scope of the activities that a company wants to achieve in future, and it makes us to think about, or it makes us to draw or bring into existence three kinds of strategies. There are cost leadership and differentiation and focus. But for focus strategy has two variants. One is cost focus, and the second one is differential focus. We are going to differentiation focus. We're going to see them in the next slides. Let's have one word understanding of what these three strategies are. These three generic strategies. Cost leadership. Cost leadership strategy makes the company to maintain low costs for their products. I mean, selling their products and ultimately selling their products at lower price in the market. This is called superior profits. This leads to superior profits through lower costs. How it is going to happen, we are going to discuss it. It's not. But in a nutshell, we can understand like cost leaders will get super profits or huge profits by making their products at lower prices than the competitors, than anybody in the industry. We can take example like Walmart, or in India DMart, or some other things like that. Differentiation. This is also one advantage, like one kind of position or strategy. Creating product or service that is perceived as being unique throughout the industry is something like as we said, like being different in the market. Your activities, your strategies, your plans, and your product and your production and your pricing and everything will look like unique. Parallel, of course, parallelly, you should not underestimate, or you should not undermine some unconditionally accepted attributes that a customer wants to have in the product. Maintaining them all the features are the POPs parallelly. You need to you need to make your product unique. That is nothing but differentiation. We can say like McDonald's and FedEx. And the focus strategy is like concentrating on a limited part of the market. And example is PepsiCo. Like the market base will be very less. And this is a kind of strategy. This is which is called a focus strategy. Let's discuss them in detail one by one. Cost leadership. And cost leadership, the people who are called as cost leadership are the strategy being followed by companies. What they do is they want to produce their products at very lower costs, and this leads to charging very lower prices, reasonable prices to customers. This leads to demand increasing. When the demand is increasing, you know low cost leads to satisfaction, leads to demand, and supply is more and more profits, and ultimately company can charge premium prices. This is what the logic behind cost leadership. How a company attains this kind of cost leadership, which means how a company can produce the products at very lower prices. This is that when they expect or experience a kind of good demand in the market for their products, they can go for huge production, like producing at larger scale, which leads to economies of scale. Like this, of course, a company when it has demand, simply it cannot go for producing products at larger scale, but provided they have the four M's, abundance of four M's with them, like men, material, money, and machinery. When all these resources are there already existing with them in abundance, at the time when they find huge demand for the products in the market, they can easily attain economies of scale. And this is one thing, by attaining economies of scale, they can reduce the cost of production. And the second one is that when the company has the proprietary technology, like they can attain cost leadership, which is like their own technology or sophisticated technology, and sometimes the people who have preferential access to raw materials, then also it is like they have a separate access to availability, procurement of the raw materials, or when they are commanding good terms with the suppliers, then that is going to give them a lead towards cost leadership. That's what it is. In all these aspects, the company can produce the products at a very lower cost, and which leads to charging of reasonable prices, which is a kind of competitive advantage for the company. And these are the things like the firm can compete on prices with every other industry, and cost reduction provides the focus on organization strategy, targets a broad market. Obviously it is that when cost leadership is there, economies of scale happens. When the products are hugely produced, like largely produced, it needs to cover the larger market. When the larger market is in reverse, we can understand, when the larger market share is there, they are going to produce more. And competitive advantage is achieved by driving down the costs. And a successful cost leadership strategy requires that the firm is the cost leader and is unchallenged in the position. And it is that generally by getting this cost leadership advantage, it can eliminate, it can drive down the competition as well. It can nullify the competition, or to the maximum extent, it can reduce the competition. Uh, where the customers are very price sensitive, there the cost leadership is going to be a huge success. In the market where we are playing, like the customer groups to whom we are targeting our product, if that customer group is price sensitive group, it's a better tactic, in fact. And of course, as there are so many benefits, like we understood, we discussed now, that there are risks also. Like, what are those? Other firms may be able to lower their costs as well in the long term. Maybe in the beginning, when when you have kick-started getting the cost reduction, probably the other people were not ready. In the long run, so your competitors also may pick up other resources, and they also can get into your place. And if they also reduce the cost of their production, what is your fate? And as technology improves, the competition may be able to leapfrog the production capabilities, thus eliminating the competitive advantage. And it could lead to a damaging price wars. And in business, generally, it is an accepted principle that there should be competition between different players in the market, but that competition should not be based on price reductions. Price cuts are, worst business tactics, and it's not at all a healthy criteria for both the parties. So if when you are reducing the cost of your production, and some other people also can reduce, and if there happens a kind of war between you, the price war, and finally what happens, like, we cannot understand. Uh, Cost leadership cannot be, uh, you know, cost leadership cannot be attained or cannot be maintained for a long run. As we know, like, in long run, even there will be no cost which is called as variable cost, fixed cost. All the costs will become variable. So that is that in the long run, things will change, but we cannot meet, or we cannot, stick on to the same kind of cost leadership. A firm following a focus strategy might be able to achieve even lower cost within their segment. Like, this is what. And next, the second one is the differentiation strategy. As we know that, as long as your product or your positioning or whatever it is, so anything of your efforts or your product or something should be unique. Unless and until you are unique, unless and until you have some very striking PODs, or some striking USPs in your product, or in your presentation or positioning, or making of your product, or whatever it is. So unless and until you are unique, generally people will not look at you. This is what internally the subject matter of differentiation strategy. Differentiation strategy calls for development of a product or service that offers unique attributes that are valued by customers. It is that, making a product unique or the business unique is something. It doesn't mean that the characteristics or the attributes that you have in your business or you have in your product no need to be in any of the other products. It should not be there in any of the competing products. There may be, like, maybe suppose when you can have an attributes in your product which are unique in the market, which are not at all in any of your competitors products. Then also it is that leads to differentiation. At the same time, the attributes that you are just going to stress as your USP can be there present in your competitor's product, but not to the extent what you are going to provide to the customers. So in both the cases, like, you are going to you are seeking, you can be understood as you are following the differentiation strategy. And generally customers perceive the product to be different and better than that of rivals. That's what it is. Customers attitude is that our customers, anybody, whoever it is called as customer, he generally, his behavior will be like he should get in return more and different than what he is giving, and then he cannot get from any other person in the market. Then only he just chooses you. It's all business, like, that's why, being different is the best possibility for you to be a market leader. And the value added by the uniqueness of the product may allow the firm to charge a premium price for it, of course, as in the case of cost leadership, leading to premium prices by being different. Also, like, sorry, in cost leadership, you are not going to levy the premium prices. You are not going to get the premium prices, but being different in the market, you are going to get the premium prices. As there is no product in the market which looks like a product, or which really has a sense of attractiveness to the customers, so they'll be ready to pay you more when your product is highly different. And A differentiation can be based on the product image or the durability, after sales, quality, additional features. Like when your features are more or new features are more and new, and when the quality of the products is more, just like iPhone and other any other phone in the market, and after sale service. Of course, take an example of washing machine market. LG people are known generally in India, like now, known for quick after sale service. Like that's why most of the people prefer that, and durability also matters. So all these things, make you a different person, different person. It requires flair, research, compatibility, and strong marketing. Of course, these are the strengths, but each and every marketing strategy has their risks in it. Now let's look into the risks of being different. Involves higher costs. When you want to make your product different, certainly you have to input additional costs, that leads to higher costs. Customers might become price sensitive and choose the price rather than uniqueness. And if suppose it is something paradoxical, like when your product is different from your competitors, customers choose. Customers sometimes may not choose your product though it is different from others. And if they being price sensitive, if they compare the price of your product with somebody else prices, they may not prefer you. This also is a kind of risk. And customers may no longer need the differentiation factor sometimes. For everything there will be a satisfactory period, and a imitation by competitors, and changes in customer tastes sometimes. Some competitors may imitate the same thing, then being different and investing much in your aspects in your business to be different are going to be wasted. Probably they cannot meet some time if competition immediately follows you. And rivals pursuing a focused strategy may be able to achieve even greater differentiation in their market segment. We are going to see what focus strategy is, that even they also will become your competitor sometimes. And this is focus strategy. The focus strategy, as we said, is something where they are going to concentrate on a very limited part of the market, and this is called focus strategy. Now see this, it is of two variants we already discussed. The focus strategy concentrates on a narrow segment, and within that segment attempts to achieve either a cost advantage or differentiation. And like there will be some customer groups, we can understand them as a niche customer groups. And there'll be generally the niche customer groups will be with the low customer base, less number of customer base, less customer base. And generally no other competitor will try to get into that market and to be your competitor, because the strength of business is not so big there. And this kind of smaller segments or smaller markets are very narrowly defined needs of the customer groups will be taken by some companies, especially by this focus strategy implementers. And the premise is that the needs of the group can be better served by focusing entirely on it. And we can say, like, if the size of the market is so big, probably you cannot serve them exactly and accurately as you promised. But when the size of the market is very very low, obviously we can you can meet or stick on to your promises. A firm using a focus strategy often enjoys a high degree of customer loyalty, and entrenched loyalty discourages other firms. Of course, it is that as the size of the market is, this is very logical. Like when the size of the market is very low, and when we are concentrating all our marketing activities, all our resources on serving only that low customer base, it's obviously we are going to justify all the customers needs. And in this case, uh, obviously a kind of loyalty generates in the customers, they'll become your customer loyal customers. And generally no competitors will try to get into this. And because of two reasons, like there is customer loyalty for you, and moreover uh, the customer base also is very low. And even the business will be finally the business also will be low value. And because of their narrow market focus, firms pursuing a focus strategy have lower volumes, and therefore less bargaining power with their suppliers. And supplying them their products itself is a great task. And no, they cannot find any competitor in the market. So the customers generally will be ready to pay the premium price. Paying premium price takes place only in focus strategies and the differentiation strategy. Firms pursuing a differentiation focused strategy may be able to pass higher costs on to customers since close substitute products do not exist. These are the highly enjoyable benefits for the producer, as there is no one great thing is that there will be no competition. When there is no competition, they can charge premium price, they can get customer loyalty, they can charge any price, and they can of course create some, they can put some their own conditions on the customers, and that will be just positive advantage or a good advantage for the businessman. Focus strategy concentrates on a narrow segment. Within the segment, attempts to achieve either a cost advantage or differentiation. The premise is that the needs of the group can be better served. It's all okay, done, we done with it. But let's look into the risks of it. Limited opportunities for growth. Generally, a company, when they are going to select the target segment, they may consider like some factors, like the segment should be of big size, and there should be chances for future growth, and there should be less scope for the competition, these kind of things. But whereas in the focus strategy followers, and opportunities for growth will be very low because of the size and their narrowly defined requirements. The firm could outgrow the market sometimes, and the danger of decline in the chosen segment or niche, the risk of imitation. As we said, like generally the competition will not be there, and if it enters, going to be a tough task. Risk of changes in the target segment, and if you want to make any changes in future, it's not going to be permitted by them, and because it's already is a kind of rigid kind of say, customer requirement, and you cannot make any changes in future. A reputation for specialization inhibits move into new sector. So these are all the things what we discussed today, and in the next class, probably today only, I'm going to launch it. Thank you.